Catus Maximus here. After doing that truce about round head ratchets, as much as I love them, pair head ratchets are awesome. So this is my top 5 reasons. Reason number 1 is variety. There's more pair heads made than round heads. There's certain styles, such as like roto heads, which are kind of exclusive to round head, but otherwise you can just get every type of comfort grip. You can get super long, super stubby, just all sorts of offset, just every type and ratchet style imaginable. All sorts of tooth counts, whether you like old coarse tooth or you like super fine 120 teeth. You can find the exact pair head ratchet that you want. Undeniable variety. If you just take a look at all the pair head ratchets made by all the manufacturers, there's hundreds to choose from. Undeniable. Number 2 is average strength. Even though like this ratchet uses what's a heart spring block and pawl, which is a very good design and allows to have a pretty tight ratchet head, even simple like Pittsburgh swing pawl ratchets like this are going to have a really low backlash or back drag. And even these swing pawl Pittsburgh Pros, plenty of YouTube videos testing these things, and they are surprisingly strong, and they just use a real rudimentary ratchet mechanism. If you took a top 100 round heads and top 100 pair heads, torque tested them all until they broke, you would have a higher total torque number among the pair heads than the round heads, because a design like this uses is kind of rare. The S-case rocking pawl is the most common, and they're just not going to be as strong size for size or pound for pound compared to a pair head. Reason number 3 is tolerances. Once again, this style is really tight, but anybody who's owned any amount of round head ratchets, or somebody like me who's collected a bunch, round head ratchets tend to, 1, they are size for size or pound for pound. They're taller. And number 2, a lot of them have just tremendously wobbly anvils, which causes early wear, or even like these straight-handled Icon 90 tooths. I mean, that thing, there's a few thousandths of play. That thing's almost dead tight. This old Duralast 36 tooth, same thing. I mean, it almost feels like that anvil's locked up, but it's not. It just has super duper tolerances in there. Pretty unbeatable. You can really expect any good pair head ratchet to have just super tight anvils. Some aren't the greatest, like these gear wrenches, but even these hold up really well. I mean, really, even these cheap, this is like a $15 ratchet or $20 ratchet. Even this little Pittsburgh has a pretty darn tight anvil. Reason number 4 would be longevity. Pound for pound, you're going to get more ratcheting cycles out of a pair head ratchet than you are out of a round head ratchet. Primarily because this anvil is going to be made much harder. The bodies of ratchets aren't going to be made out of the hardest steel. I made a video about restoring a round head, showing how you can use a file on the body of a ratchet to restore teeth, but it just skates off the pawl. These anvils and pair heads also tend to be very hard because they're a smaller piece of steel. It's easier to control. It's cheaper for them to make, this out of a super duper hard steel versus a whole ratchet handle, which just makes it much more expensive for no real benefit. So inherently, the hardness of the anvil is more closely matched to that of the pawl, and they'll last much longer. On a round head, you have the hard pawl wearing on a softer outer body with the teeth, and once that loosens up, you're going to end up with slipping. Run into plenty of slipping round head ratchets, and you can't fix them. And that leads me into point number 5. You can't fix a round head ratchet. I showed that where you have to use a file, but something this small, once this wears out, it's done. I have to get a whole new ratchet because the darn body is worn out. On a pair head, you can buy a whole rebuild kit. You can empty all the parts out of the handle, the switch, all the screws, the plate, the pawl, the anvil, everything you can just replace. So all the moving parts are completely replaced, and the only way you can tell that you don't have a brand new ratchet is just some wear on the actual handle itself. Otherwise, when you rebuild a pair head, you get an absolutely brand new ratchet. It works just like new. A round head, you have to buy a whole new ratchet, just straight up. There is no rebuilding it or anything like that. So that would conclude my top 5 reasons why pair heads are awesome. Really, from the law averages, pair heads are going to last longer. They're going to take more torque for any given old pear head. And there's just simply more variety for you to choose from. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.